Okay, I'd make it 9:59, Chair. So we've still
Yeah.
got a minute. So
Okay,
once we
wait till then.
once we're at 10, I'll ask my colleague to start the live stream proper, and then I'll go through the housekeeping and hand over to you.
Okay.
Right, I make it 10 o'clock, Chair. I'll just ask Gareth to start the live stream.
All
Yes,
okay.
please.
All okay. All activated.
Great, lovely. Thanks, Gareth. Okay.
Right. In that case, Mark, if you can do the housekeeping first, please.
Will do. Thanks, Chair. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Public Rights of Way Subcommittee meeting on Wednesday, the 22nd of January. My name is Mark Thomas. I'll be the Democratic Scrutiny Services Officer for this meeting. I'm just going to go through some housekeeping for the meeting in question and then hand over to the Chair, Councillor Neil Thomas. Just to start, may I remind everyone present that this remote meeting of the Public Rights of Way Subcommittee is being live streamed as well as recorded via the internet, and is recorded and archived for future viewing. Could all participants please mute themselves when not speaking in order to avoid any background noise or feedback whenever participants are speaking. If a participant wishes to speak, can they please use the remote raise hand function? If a participant raises their hand via the remote function and is not subsequently invited to speak by the Chair, please could they turn their camera on to indicate or place a message in the chat function. When invited to address the committee by the Chair, please could all participants ensure that their microphone and camera is on, and to ensure that they can be seen and heard when actively participating. If this is not possible for any reason, please bring this to the attention of the Chair and or myself, Democratic Services Officer, as soon as possible. Please ensure that all debate is raised verbally and not via the chat function for the sake of the recording. Chat function may be used to highlight any technical issues and or to grab the attention of the Chair or Democratic Services Officer. If any participant has difficulty hearing or being heard when they are addressing the committee, then they should let the Chair or Democratic Officer know. So please could I welcome all committee and non-committee elected members, our officers, residents, and also to anyone who's watching the live meeting broadcast. And that's the end of the housekeeping rules. I'll pass over to the Chair.
Thank you very much, Mark. Welcome all to the Plenary Committee Public Rights of Way meeting for the Wednesday, 22nd of January 2025 at 10 a.m. Can I first start with apologies for absence?
Hi, Chair. I've just had one apologies through, and that's from Councillor Drake.
Thank you very much. And I assume we are quorate.
Yes, that's correct, Chair.
Just looking at the list of attendees, yeah. Okay, so first agenda item 2 is the minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of November. Can someone please move these if they're happy? Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Chair. You have to be a member. Obviously, Councillor Godfrey isn't a member, but Councillor Williams has put his hand up, so that's fine. Thank you. Yeah,
and I'll formally second that then. Yeah, sorry, Russell. Yeah, you're not a member of the committee, so you can't. Right, declarations of interest, if any, from members of the committee. I see no declarations of interest, so I assume there are none. Right, we move on to agenda item 4, which is the before I get on to that, I'll just draw committee's attention to the fact that we have had a number of late reps, which I assume everybody has read. So agenda item 4, the proposed changes to the Public Rights of Way network in the vicinity of Whitehall Farm, Wenvo. David Hunt, if you could come on, please, and take us through the report.
Yeah, I'm just going to share my screen, so please let me know if this comes through now properly.
Yeah, it's on now. Thank you. I was waiting for sharing source. So.
Maybe a slight delay, Chair, so please bear with us.
Yeah, there it is.
Dave, just to say, it's currently just showing like the previews on the side. I don't know if you're able to go into the full presentation mode. Right. Yeah, it's coming through now. Thanks, Dave.
That's it. Yeah.
That's okay, yeah? You can see it?
Yes, David.
Okay. I'll just get my notes on the other screen so I can it runs as smooth as possible. Okay, so yeah, hi, I'm David Hunt, the Countryside Access Manager for Public Rights of Way. I'll be running you through this report on the proposed changes to the Rights of Way network in the vicinity of Whitehall. So the purpose of the report is to seek authority for the making of 5 public orders, which would make changes to the Rights of Way network in the vicinity of Whitehall. This presentation is basically a visual representation of the report you've already got. So there's nothing really different. I hope you've had the chance to read it. If not, this will summarize the main points for you. It's worth noting as well that the aim of this application is to create an improved network which is accessible to a broader range of users. And the application is actually brought to you by the Public Rights of Way section. A plan showing the current and proposed layouts is summarized on the next slide. So on the left there, the plan just shows you how the current situation looks on the definitive map. On the right then, this is the plan of how the network would look should the changes be made. So the proposal requires the making of 5 orders, each made under the Highways Act 1980. As a mix of creation and extinguishment orders. Basically, a creation order would be for the access track from Pound Lane to St. Lythans, and the 118 is the extinguishment, which relates to footpath 56. The creation order proposed for the bridle way along the track is kind of a standalone proposal, but each of the concurrent orders for 25 and footpath 56 depends on the success of this link. And that the reason is basically just to tie everything together and create a link to connect up to. So, as you can see, the proposal cleans up the routes through the field on the left, with footpath 25 being diverted away from the boggy field, which used to flood, and puts it onto a newly constructed path next to the existing track. So this This basically provides a more suitable surface to help with accessibility. Concurrent extinguishment and creation orders would remove the footpath 56 and in its place create a bridleway, albeit on a slightly different alignment. This moves the path away from the edge of the old barn onto a wider section of field, which the landowners kindly allowed us to create. It provides a slightly wider track to enable use, obviously, for horses and cyclists, and again, it's a more suitable surface. And the section 26 creation for a new bridleway along the access track from St Lidden's Road to Pound Lane. Again, that sort of links everything up together, creating a much more usable network. So, following a broad pre-order consultation, this was before my time back in February 22, concerns and objections were raised by various members of the community. A follow-up was then sent in May 23 to check if viewpoints had changed. I won't go through them all here in detail, but I'm sure you've read them, or if you haven't, a table of those concerns and the previous rights-of-way officer's response to each is attached to Appendix 6. A lot of the comments or objections raised appeared to be long-standing issues. Sorry, is that on the right track? Yeah.
It's on the consultation slide still, Dave. So,
that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I think it went forward a bit too quick, so that's fine. Yeah, a lot of the original comments and objections appear to be long-standing issues, and thoughts that perhaps the access track had had vehicle rights historically, but this was never recorded as a highway, and it wasn't on the definitive map either as any status, and it currently doesn't have any highway status. So it's worth clearing that up. Some people believe that the lane should have been recorded as a status for vehicular access. However, whilst this may have taken place historically, it was never recorded. So what happened is that in 2006, the Natural Environment Rural Communities Act, known as the NERC Act, essentially extinguished all vehicular rights for any routes that were not already recorded. Again, my impression really of some of the original concerns raised was perhaps maybe people hadn't fully envisaged the wider picture of what we were trying to achieve here. So I know there's been ongoing disputes and issues within the community surrounding this, but regardless of that, we're in the position we are now, and I hope that this short presentation will help you to see the overall scope of what we're proposing, and hopefully that it shows that the area will essentially be improved, improving access and the ability of residents and those from the wider area to link in with other parts of the rights-of-way network. So before making a creation under the Highways Act, it must appear to the council that a path is needed and is expedient for the way to be created. In doing so, authorities must have regard to the extent which the path would either add to the convenience or enjoyment of a substantial section of the wider public, or the convenience of persons resident in the area. Similar for the proposed extinguishment, it must appear that it's necessary to stop up the path on the way on the grounds that it is not needed. And when confirming the concurrent extinguishment and creation for this footpath 56, the authority must have regard to the extent to which the creation would provide a suitable alternative route. So essentially, in applying the tests to the three main sections here, the creation of the bridleway from St Lidden's Road to Pound Lane, it should be noted that the new bridleway would provide a benefit to walkers, cyclists and horse riders within the local community and beyond, and provides an integral link into the Great Glamorgan Way promoted route, and people from residents and people further afield. The proposal would also ensure that public access along this lane would become recorded on a definitive map, and therefore the public's right to use the lane would become protected by the authority. In considering the effect the creation would have on the existing private rights of persons interested in the land, it's worth noting that the proposal would not affect any existing private agreements for people that want to access the field adjacent to the lane. And again, I think some people were originally concerned that, the adjacent landowners and things like that. So in applying the test to the proposed diversion of the footpath 25, again, it's noted that the new alignment would ensure that the area is maintained with a much more improved surface, avoid the previous issues associated with a flooded and boggy field. And again, it's all to do with improving accessibility to the network. So, and finally, then, in applying the tests to the proposed extinguishment of footpath 56 and creating of the bridleway in its place, again, the bridleway would provide a benefit to cyclists and horse riders in the local community, providing a much needed off-road link into the broader network. It's also worth mentioning that a colleague of mine and the previous Rights of Way officer have actually met with a representative from the local and national branch of the British Horse Society, and did a site visit at the time. And they also agreed that the proposal would be a benefit and useful link to the riding community. So the recommendation from the Rights of Way section is that the council, being the relevant highway authority, proceeds with the making of the orders as set out in the executive summary and detailed in the appendices. And subject to no further objections being received, would be to confirm the orders. The reasons is that we believe the proposed changes to the Rights of Way network would be in the wider public interest, providing more opportunities to the network and improving accessibility to a broader range of users. And that's all from me. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you, David. Do any members of the committee have any questions for David at this time? Again, I see no hands, so I assume not. Councillor Godfrey, you're online. You're the local member. Did you wish to speak at this point?
Yes, if I could, Chair. I fully support this proposal. I think it's going to provide safe passage for off-road cyclists, horse riding and walkers. And also it's going to alleviate any issues with the farming community of people crossing fields where there may be cattle, where there's been instances with dogs in the past. And I think this can only be a positive development for the local community. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Any members of the committee have any questions for Russell Godfrey? Councillor Godfrey. Again, I see no hands. In that case, can I open up the... we have Irene Thornton from Legal on the line. And if she wants to indicate whether she has any comments to make at this point.
No comments from me. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Irene. In that case, we can move to any discussion amongst members of the committee on this. Do any of the committee have any comments to make or any questions to add? Eddie, Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Chair. It's for me, the report is balanced. It recognises there are some concerns from local people. However, they do seem to be addressed. Certainly, the benefits outweigh any smaller difficulties that are in there, and I think that the way the report is written demonstrates that it supports the legal tests and that it does improve for the local area, the community, and also, as Councillor Godfrey's put across, cyclists, horse riders and the like. I am aware that there's quite a large contingent of horse riders in that area, and to provide a safer way for them to utilise the vicinity would be an improvement. I can't see any particular reasons to not agree with the officer's recommendation. So I'll see if anybody else wants to speak, but if not, I'm happy to move.
Oh, thank you very much, Eddie, Councillor Williams. Do any other members of the committee want to speak at this point? Does anyone want to second Councillor Williams? If not, then I will formally second his moving of the officer's recommendations. Seeing nobody else wishes to speak, nobody is opposed. I therefore assume from that everyone is in agreement, and therefore I believe that the whole thing is Eddie. You're back on screen.
Yeah, sorry. I think you're going to finish off saying that it's been accepted. The reason why there hasn't been much discussion is because the report is clear. It gives quite a lot of detail on what's been created, and also explains from the officer's point of view responses to those who provided objections and the others that have supported it in the consultation. So I don't want people to think that we haven't questioned this in any depth. The report is such a broad, covers all the particular areas that are required, and therefore I was more than happy to move. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. In that case, I will second that. I will ask a question though, David Hunt, and that's about upkeep and maintenance and so on going forward, which perhaps needs clarification because there has been some discussion about responsibility for the upkeep and maintenance of the various footpaths and bridleway. If you could just sort of explain the way, please, David, the way that that will operate.
Yeah, sure. So, so if the orders go through as planned, then it would become part of the definitive map, and the council would take on the responsibility of the maintenance of the surface, basically. I mean, vegetation upgrowth from the sides and above is the responsibility of the landowner, or always has been. But in terms of keeping the surface that you would use for then like a growth vegetation, that sort of thing, keeping it in a good, reasonable state, that would be down to the council to do that. It's worth noting, I think, that the two paths, the east to west sections, 25 and 56, have been upgraded over the last couple of years through the Great Glamorgan Way project. So they have already got a fairly newish surface on them. So yeah, it shouldn't be too much in terms of upkeep generally, and the access lane itself is more sort of like a stone dust and sort of cobble lane. So hopefully it should be minimal, but yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. I mean, the Great Glamorgan Way is quite the project. It's looking for better connectivity and better use of outside space for all residents and accessibility for that, and that is, I think, something generally applauded nationally. It seems to me that there are no other comments, there are no other questions that I can see. In that case, I don't think that there's a need for a vote, although, Mark, perhaps you can clarify whether we should vote on this or whether we can just take it as no objections and we agreed to officers' recommendations.
I would say if we've obviously had this seconded now by Councillor Williams, as long as Councillor,
He moved, I seconded.
yeah, sorry,
Councillor Williams moved, I seconded.
yeah. So as we've had that, and we've had no dissent from the other member present today, Councillor Bruce. I think that should be fine, Chair. But I'll defer to Irene if she's got any other opinions on that, the legal officer. From my point of view, I think that would be procedurally fine.
I agree. That's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Irene. Gillian, you have no comment to make, or
No, everything looks fine. Thank you.
you're content as well.
Yes.
In that case, we have heard from all three of us present. I can confirm that the officer's recommendations have been supported, and the changes can go forward. As I understand it, this will take. There is still a legal process to go through, and this will take some time. So I would expect that the current situation will remain until the orders go into effect, and that every effort will be made to keep those routes functioning and open in the meantime. David.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, this will now go through to an order making process and advertised publicly. So there will be a further consultation period as part of the process. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's confirmed then. In that case, thank you all for your attendance, and have a pleasant day. Take care. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Neil.
Cheers, Eddie. Bye-bye.